Now that Starfield has been out for some time, one of the main things a lot of us fans are looking forward to is the mods. And here are going to be the top 10 mods that we want to see from Starfield. Welcome back to Nerdstone Entertainment, everybody. It is me, Nerdstone, here back with another Starfield video. And today we are going to be discussing the top 10 mods that everybody wants to see from Starfield. But before we get into it, if you like this type of content or if you're looking for more Starfield videos, do not forget to go ahead and subscribe and then ring the bell to receive notifications so that way you know every time I happen to upload a video. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into number 10. Okay, so this first one is going to be a fairly simple one. I don't think it should be that hard. But again, I'm not a modder, so yeah. Being able to fly your ship in atmosphere. In Starfield, there are going to be a lot of instances where you're just simply walking for many, many, many kilometers, and you just do not want to do that all the time. So, yes, there is fast travel, but there are going to be some of us that just want to happen to fly our ship in atmosphere. The only problem that may arise with that is how this game is built, where a lot of areas are procedurally generated and they're only but so big. So, that may end up causing a problem for the modders, but I do think that y'all are going to be able to get around that. I have faith in you. All right, so number 9. I feel like this one is another fairly simple one, but it's another one that I think is going to add a lot of depth to space travel. So I feel as if there needs to be some form of space weather, whether that's gravitational pulls from black holes or cosmic rays or a solar storm or anything of that nature. I feel like that'll add a lot of depth to space travel and hell, even space combat itself. You can be in the middle of some galactic dogfight, and then the next thing you know, some cosmic rays come through and either shut down your ships through an EMP or something, or what have you. I think that'll be a nice addition to the game, and I feel like adding in some space weather would be nice. All right, coming in at number 8 is spacewalking. I don't know about anybody else, but I always thought it was cool being able to watch those NASA videos of the astronauts spacewalking on the ISS. I've always wanted to be able to do something like that. And I feel like this would be the perfect chance to be able to put spacewalking into Starfield, whether you're just spacewalking on the outside of your ship or trying to do some repairs. I feel like this could be a simple addition to the game because there are instances when you're in space and you can simply get up from the pilot seat and walk around your spaceship. What you can end up doing is walking to your dock doors and then being able to spacewalk from there. I feel like that'll actually be really cool, especially if it's for instances like repairing your ship. All right, coming in at number 7 is simply expanding the universe. Now, 1,000 planets is a lot to begin with already, but there are going to be those people out there that happen to go to every single planet and are going to want more. So, if you're able to add more planets, more moons for us to explore, or just more giant asteroids, if you will, for us to explore, I think that would be a nice addition to the game, especially if it ends up adding more story content if you add that onto it, or if it's not even adding more planets or moons, if you're adding more celestial bodies for us to view while we're in space, like two suns orbiting each other, or seeing a black hole. I think those will be some nice additions to being able to actually expand this universe. All right, coming in at number 6 is another very simple one. It's just a visual overhaul. Not saying that Starfield looks bad by any means, but it could definitely end up looking better. Just like other Bethesda games before, like Skyrim, Fallout 3 and 4, there has always been some visual increases with mods added to the game later on. And I definitely feel as if Starfield is going to get its fair share of visual overhauls as well. But as far as the few mods that I feel as if are definitely needed when it comes to visual overhauls, are not so scary facial expressions for NPCs for one. Because every time you come across an NPC in Starfield, what happens? They're staring right at you. So that's one of the main things that I wish could be changed is some visual overhauls for the entire game, not just the NPCs. All right, coming in at number 5 is ground to space travel. Now, I know this one is going to be a little difficult, but it's one that everybody is going to end up wanting. The reason why I say it's going to be a little difficult is because of how the game is built. Again, a lot of the areas on planets themselves are procedurally generated, meaning that none of these areas are actually connected at all. They're not so small areas that are self-contained in and of themselves. So that may be difficult, but I know there are going to be modders that end up figuring that out, whether or not they only do it for the planets that they create, or if they end up figuring it out for other planets like New Atlantis or any of the other pre-made planets within Starfield. Coming in at number 4 is multiplayer. Now, I've been getting a lot of questions on my TikTok videos about whether or not this game is multiplayer. And sadly, I have to sit here and tell people that this game is not multiplayer. It is a single player game. But that is definitely something people want out of this game. So, just like with Skyrim, they can build a multiplayer mod where, at the very least, you and another friend can venture the galaxy together, whether y'all are on the same starship or y'all happen to meet each other in space and you duke it out. I feel as if adding some form of multiplayer element, just like with the multiplayer mod for Skyrim, this would be amazing to add into Starfield. All right, coming in at number 3 is a bit of a horror element, but I feel it would actually work on specific planets within Starfield. Adding some xenomorphs or any other scary space creature into this game would actually increase some of the scariness of this game. There have been multiple moments in this game where some small creature or whatever ended up popping out and actually giving me a good scare. So I feel as if adding some more horror creatures, especially ones from like space-based movies like Xenomorphs, would be a nice addition to this game. All right, coming in at number 2 and number 1 for that matter. These last two are pretty obvious, but I know people are going to want them. So for number 2 is Star Trek. There is a multitude of things that you can end up adding for Star Trek, whether that be the factions, the uniforms, the spaceships themselves. There is a multitude of things that you can end up adding for Star Trek, and I feel like that would be an amazing addition. You can end up creating your own factions with their own storylines that you can get into, and there's a multitude of weapons in Star Trek that you can end up adding as well, like phasers, or even changing up the fast travel system from your ship to anywhere on the planet to being beamed up just like in the show. There is a multitude of different things within Star Trek that you can definitely add into Starfield that would just simply work because why? It's a space-based game. All right, last but not least, and again, this one is very obvious, but adding Star Wars into Starfield. And yes, this one would be an easy addition to the game. There are different ships, there are different factions like bounty hunters, the Jedi, the Sith, or any other faction within Star Wars that can be added. There are different weapons like blasters, lightsabers. And then the most obvious one of them all is the Force. As of this recording, I have yet to actually beat the main story for Starfield, but as we know from the trailers, there is some form of powers that you get, more than likely from the artifacts themselves. So adding the Force would not be so weird into this game. And I feel like that would be a very, very easy addition to the game, and probably one of the most cool ones. And think about this, you could actually wield a lightsaber within Starfield. Who wouldn't want to be a Ahsoka Tano out there in space? Now, these are just a few of the obvious mods that I think are going to end up being added to Starfield. Let me know what other mods that you can come up with down in the comment section below. With that being said, do not forget to go ahead, like, share, and subscribe, and then ring the bell to receive notifications. So that way, you know every time I upload a video. I appreciate you for watching this video. With that being said, you have a great rest of your day.